Welcome to Start Building Me, my nightly training session, which is cast out over Twitch, Facebook and YouTube to get you into the healthy habit of exercise. If you do not already exercise, you have to exercise, folks. It's not an option. People think for some reason it's just for athletes or movie stars or people who want to look good in a certain suit. No, everybody has to exercise. You've just got to get into the habit of doing it. Once you get into the habit of it, you will find it very rewarding, fun, dopaminergic, and yeah, like I said, it's just something that once you get into the habit of it, which is something that I'm trying to teach here, you will find it improves your life. I guarantee it. Yeah, got a frog in my throat. Better than a frog in my air conditioner, so at least the only noise that's going to be coming is from me. So, as I always say, you have to exercise. You have to exercise. Drill that into your head. So, when you are sitting in front of the couch doing nothing, you can be thinking, okay, at least I know now I'm at that level of unconscious incompetence, or maybe conscious incompetence. You know you have to exercise then, and therefore you will be feeling guilty that you're not. You've got to do something. It can just be walking. You don't have to do anything too serious, but what I'm trying to teach people is to do something within a small area that gets a good result within 15 minutes. It's already a minute in, so I'm going to walk I'm going to squat and talk at the same time using my kettlebell because I can add a little bit more intensity. Just like sitting down on a chair, standing back up, sitting down on a bed, standing back up, sitting down on a box and standing back up is the essence of a squat. Gets the blood pumping. If you want the finer details, check out the Start Building Me YouTube, which has been cast as soon as I broadcasted here, so check it out. And there are some finer details of the squats and the push-ups, which I don't go through because I used to sound like a broken record. I would rather just come on here now and shoot the proverbial, and hope you guys had a good day, and get your blood pumping, increase your heart rate, increase your blood pressure temporarily with me on Start Building Me. And guess what? That will counterintuitively help you relax. So people think, oh my God, it's going to get me all worked up. Yes, temporarily. Then everything relaxes again, and then you'll find yourself relaxing. So that's why I do it at the end of the day, just before going and reading, watching TV, chilling out, maybe playing around a Counter-Strike Global Offensive or whatnot. Doesn't have to be too serious. The numbers are arbitrary. Just think, sit down on a chair, stand back up. Take a breather, have a breath. Sit down on a chair, stand back up. So whatever rhythm that you want to do, whatever your rhythm you're capable of, you don't have to be like me going at a million miles an hour. That's not the point. The point is just to get you here, see Start Building Me going on live, doing a few squats, doing a few push-ups, patting yourself on the back, and then getting the hell on with your life. That's what I want. I don't want people sticking around watching me train and dance around all night to get engagement. That's stupid. I'm too old for that. I'm a dust collecting neo boomer, aka millennial, and I have my own engagement to do. And by that I mean middle-age engagement of staring at the wall, thinking about things that make me angry. This is generally what I do. And it's a lot. It's a lot of things. So it's a busy evening plan. Time is money. Let's get squatting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathe. Oh, as always, take it easy. In between, breathe, relax. Walk in a circle like me, whatever it is that you want to do. We are 4 minutes in of a 15-minute session, so not that long left, folks. We're at 1/3 in. Just shows you how quickly you can get a good workout in. Doesn't have to be an hour, doesn't have to be 2 hours, don't have to sign up to a gym, don't have to get kettlebells, you don't have to do anything. You just, excusez-moi, have to have a room like this, like my virtual Maroubra studio here, which is just barely my wingspan wide, or my reach, as they say in boxing, which is your wingspan or arm span or span. Maybe it's a span with humans. I would not know. Anyway, do some more squats. Sitting back into your heels, weight goes to the outside of your feet, drive your toes into the ground, sitting back into your heels. That is what a squat looks like. Very simple, no need to oversimplify it. Definitely need to oversimplify it. Had a bit of a technical difficulty. I hope it's still streaming. Is that still streaming? Can you hear me? Yeah, sweet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Getting better at the technical difficulties, making sure I get those ninja reflexes restarting my stream. Itching from the magnesium blend in my freezer box. I've been sitting in my freezer too much. It's too fun to get that dopamine response. So I hopped in before and then forgot to shower it off. That's the opportunity to do mine. Do a mind act. Yeah, I know. I started to, but then I didn't know anything. Hey, I can barely get symmetry to try and show people how to do a squat properly. That would be a terrible mime. That would be kicking my mime teeth in. And I'm quite tired, so I was like, do mimes have teeth? Why wouldn't they is the question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right, Pat, my cousin, told me with the Homer quote about speak up, I'm wearing a towel is a reference in a movie. Like obviously there are always references in movies. But from like, you know, even my mum used to do it, like wrap the towel around your head. So the woman goes to the phone with the towel wrapped around her head, you know, and so she can't hear because the towel's over her ear. And I was like, Pat, it's good to have indoctrinated your little cousin into The Simpsons whilst growing up with him, so you can end up giving you all these tips about what Simpsons references were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get that blood pumping going. But obviously, actually, I'm not sure in the episode if Homer has the towel on his head or not. I don't think he does. I think that's the joke. But maybe he does have it on his head, because that would also be the joke, because he's bald. I'm going to have to watch that one later. I'm not sure about you, but I have been mediaed out. This is the only media that I've been engaging with, apart from the odd. It's on his body. Yes, to tennis elbow. I have it right now. The exercise that I'm doing is I've got a mallet, and you rotate your wrist outwards with a mallet in your hand, and I do that every day. I've also got a Thera bar, which I twist, which helps your tendons as well. It does work, but you've got to do it every day, and it's a total pain in the CKSIDE. So you can take any weight and just have your arm on an armrest of a chair and you just rotate that arm out. Or TheraBars, they're like a rubberized bar, and if you hold them and twist them, that will help you. I've taken an 8-week break and it's basically gone, meaning there's no pain, but if I do heavy, it flows to get me. Yes, yeah, I mean, that is the universal way that they tell you to get rid of it, is just to sit and do nothing. But then I find with the muscular atrophy that goes on, then I get other problems in other tendons. So I always find active recovery is better than doing nothing at all. I know it's frustrating if you're doing lifting, and I know you don't want to hear this, but they always say go back to 30% of whatever you're doing at that time and do really slow sort of eccentric and concentric movements to get your tendons strengthened. The only other thing that I can recommend, which works for me really well, is voodoo flossing. So if you Google voodoo flossing, it's just basically an elastic or sort of rubber band, and you wrap it around sort of between midway through your bicep and tricep down to sort of halfway through your arm. And what you're doing is you're grabbing a dumbbell then, and you're working your range of motion with the voodoo floss band on quite tight. There'll be detailed instructions of how to use it properly online. And basically what it does is, I think I've even got, or in one of my posts, I was talking about it. It's like your tendons are like strands of spaghetti, cooked spaghetti, and they get tangled. And by doing the voodoo floss, you're squeezing the blood out of the tendons, and it allows them to realign properly. Like you can imagine like fresh spaghetti before you've put it in the water and boiled it. So voodoo flossing does work. Again, it will take you just have to do it as a warm-up before you do your exercises. And that's probably the best thing that I can recommend, voodoo flossing. Check it out. No, it's not really weak forearms. It's not weak forearms, mate. It's just overuse, just like anything, wear and tear. And for me, it's always typical when I'm just getting back into a 3-month program. Always within the first 2 weeks, I go too hard, too fast, and create that problem. And by doing so, I have to hit out the voodoo floss. So check out voodoo flossing. Give that a shot first. They're $15, roguefitness.com.au or rogue.com.au. Maybe it's just rogue.com/au. Maybe they don't have an AU domain. Yeah, and drop the weight. So if you're doing like a 10 kilo dumbbell, do 3. Or if you're doing, 20 kilos, do 7.5s or something like that. I should be doing it as well. It's sitting on my counter out in the living room, and I walk past it every day whinging about my tendon that has caused me grief. I do indoor rock climbing and bouldering, and it always flares up. So sometimes you have to be disciplined to do less. Yes, exactly right. It's sort of counterintuitive, right? You've got to make progress, do less. This is only something that started happening to me as a dust collecting 30-year-old or 35. I started getting problems with my tendons, but I can assure you that the voodoo floss will work. Drop back the weight, slow range of motion, very controlled. Like for me, it's not the supinated side so much. It's when I do anything pronated. So if I'm doing pull-ups as opposed to chin-ups, at the top of that movement, I get the tendon issue there. So I do the mallet and the voodoo floss on reduced weight. So give it a shot, send me a message. I've got a video somewhere of my rebuild series where I talk about voodoo flossing, but if not, there's like a million videos online that will explain it a lot better than I do. Rest assured. So never forget, whilst we're doing a few push-ups, before I call it quits for this evening, you can do them off your knees. It doesn't matter, you don't have to, listen to the form sticklers. This looks like a push-up to me. I'm sure it does to you as well. What we're trying to do is just push the blood through your upper body. That's the aim of the game. You can do strict push-ups if you've got the coordination and the strength already. Go for it and just do a few. The numbers are arbitrary as always, depending on what level you're at. So if you can only do one, awesome. It's one more than zero, right? And as I always say, well, I haven't said in a while, we're competing against ourselves and our performance yesterday. That's what Start Building Me is all about, is to get you into the habit. As the questions are coming here, exactly that's the stuff that I want to talk about. It's for people starting, people who are injured or coming back from injury, or people who have damaged something and just want to get back into exercising. Like, I can't stress it enough. There are so many things that are obvious to me, and they're only obvious to me now because I've had to work through so many mistakes, you know? So just like tendon recovery and voodoo flossing and reducing the load and slow contractions and extensions, like all this stuff is stuff that you have to sift through a lot of internet times for, and stuff that I can hopefully save you that time. Time is what we have equally little of. And so I just want to get in here, answer some questions, do my own workout, and try and inspire people to switch off the news, switch off the media. Don't be hoodwinked and bamboozled by the forces that be, folks. They're just trying to stir us up, trying to get engagement. Don't fall for the trap. Just work your traps instead. Pump iron, walk, rehabilitate your tendons. Oh no, I'm gonna go voodoo floss after this, so I'll bring my voodoo floss in tomorrow night. If anybody's interested, I'll show you how to use them. You can use them on your knees. I use them on my ankles. So I'll wrap my foot and my ankle and then do flexions and with my ankle before I run. So I have sometimes get some tight Achilles, and Achilles is a tendon, therefore voodoo flossing works for your tendons as well. It works on your knees, elbows, unless you're Michael Hutchence or David Carradine, don't work it on your neck, although it didn't really work for them either, so I've got to keep it PG. But definitely works. It's the easiest to apply. You can sort of wrap around once so it grips on itself, and then wrap it around your arm, and it's feeling tight, and you'll watch all your veins pump up because it's stopping the blood flow through your tendons, and then when you release it, all the blood rushes back in and aligns your tendons. So that is the basic principle of it, and it does work. It really does work. I just like sitting around and whinging about it and doing nothing until it goes away, and doing cycling or something for a while. But so like you can cycle on a bike, but you can cycle exercises. So I haven't been rock climbing in a few months, maybe 2 months. And I would look forward to going to climb. But yeah. You got it from rock climbing as well? Yeah, rock climbing does it. A lot of the time is you're working on a problem and you're hanging and you're looking, I can go to there, and you try and muscle up something, so you, instead of using good technique and driving through your legs, you're monkeying yourself up with your arms. I'm a intermediate climber at best. My brother-in-law is great. He kicks ass, but my technique kind of sucks, so I've got to live with it. Everything else in my life, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, bikes, everything I've used, I've just muscled my way through it, and it's at that age now where I've got to focus more on the finesse because, tendon issues are really annoying. But inflamed tendons and bursitis, it could be worse. You could do ligament damage, but that comes after tendonitis, right? So just ice. There's an anti-inflammatory gel, ibuprofen, and over-the-counter anti-inflammatories like naproxen is what I use, which helps as well if you want to sort of do some active recovery, some sort of low-intensity climbing. Don't try and go for broke, which is obviously easier said than done. Follow what I say, not what I do, because I have I have tendon injury in that right arm presently. It could be a bicep tear, absolutely, mate. I saw that documentary about that Australian bodybuilder, I think he's a fitness physique category bodybuilder, Callum Moggan or Callum Mogland or something like that, and he was curling with his mate on a bar, curling like 100 and something kilos, and his pector, or I can't remember, something in his arm or his pector, and he was out for years. So obviously we're not going to be doing that, but just be careful, folks. Slow and steady wins the race. I know that now. I didn't know that when I was younger, and I am paying the price now. So slow and steady definitely wins the race. I can go on, don't know, just too much. Yeah, well, I know for a fact that there are people in this chat room, not just you and me, who suffer from that same problem. So Star Jump, definitely my good sister. Yeah, well look, stay in touch. Send me a message on Twitter at startbuilding.me or Facebook or whatever. If you want some advice, I can give it. Follow what I say, not what I do. I make the same mistakes even now. But look, what do you want to do? Do you want to push it too high? South Style Jump in the house. The person who runs another 8 kilometers on a trail run with a busted ligament, so it runs in the family. But look, as we know in my family, if you bust something, then you've got to endure the recovery, and that's always going to suck, right? So you're better off going slower, slow down the pace, get some good results. You're not going to get the great results, but that will come over time after your ligaments strengthen. Yeah, I've had some setbacks myself, and I'm just making another recovery now, and hopefully I'll get that tendon done. I'm gonna push it as hard as I can without getting injured. I've got like 5 injuries in 2 years. Look, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. That's life. I wouldn't be too worried about it, mate. But slow it down. Go to the gym, take it easy, do your weights. If you haven't heard of Dr. Andy Galpin, check out Dr. Andy Galpin's system of 5s. So 5 exercises, so 5 muscle groups or 5 different exercises. Doesn't have to be different muscle groups. 5 sets, 3 to 5 minutes in between. Focusing on strength for hypertrophy, which means less wear and tear. I used to do a lot of German volume training, 10 sets of 10. And I think that was too much load, too much repetition, and that's what has been causing a lot of damage. So anyway, I'm out of here for tonight. Always short and sweet, which is the aim of the game on Start Building Me. I'm here every night to shoot the proverbial and answer questions on social media as always, because like these questions, they're awesome. And thank you so much for coming and asking those questions. Like, mate, they're endless. They're endless. Have a good night. I'll speak to you guys soon, and send me a message if you want to shoot more proverbial about this sort of stuff, because it's my life. I seriously love this stuff, and I've got so many different recovery methods. Have a good night.